Okay, good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Welcome, everyone. As we learn, sponsored by Shalom Fogel, Nishmas Yaakov Zeb ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam Bas Gad, Yosef ben Sion ben Yaakov Zev, by Baruch Ian Lila Nishmas Yaakov Chaim ben Abba, Esther Bas Gittel, Avram ben Shmuel HaKayin, by A.B. Spry for Nachas from children and grandchildren, Yaakov Umansky, also Nachas from children and grandchildren, Hakosar Tov to the Rav and the Zoom family, Ed Salah from London, and Joshua Rosenberg, a virtual Talmud. We are also dedicated by Marshall Eli Nishmas, his mother-in-law, Ruchama Bas Elimelech Chaim. Her neshama should have a lichtige Gan Eden. She should be a Melitzis Yosher, for Yeshara, for her family, for all of us, and all of Klal Yisrael. We welcome in Stephen Holtzman, and we welcome in Menachem Umansky, Mo Kushner, Shalom Fogel, that's Shragi, and Dr. Black, Saba, Mel Zachter, Marshall Castle. We welcome in Barish Kesselman, Yitzi Fuchs, Aaron Swade, Yisrael Fisher, Irving Fishbaum, Dr. Guy, Nachman Chapler, Shelley Zeitlin, Avram Rozepkowitz, Ilya Shutman, Yitzi Muller, Rabbi Kranz, Abe Arbach, Naftali Jablin, and Mark Frankel has made it. And we want to take the opportunity to wish a mazel tov to Gedalia Engel, who just came from a Vachnach. Mazel tov, it should be Zeichel Achnis Brisa Shel Avram Avinu Bizmanai. You know that there's going to be a Nes Nigla by the bris tomorrow morning. That I'm going to be there early in the morning. That's a Nes Nigla. So some people, I can't believe for some people daven 6:40 in the morning. It's like, whoever heard of such a thing?
That's not even up yet. You won't be doing the bris.
No, I won't be doing the bris. The baby is lucky I won't be doing the bris. Michal Avram, Baruch Ian, and Rich Leonard, and Chaim Crane. Chaim, you could come back in the front. Ruvain Shannon. They'll find a different place to learn so that they don't occupy your seat. Okay, so there's good news and there's challenging news. The challenging news is today's daf is not so easy. The good news is that then we're going to have one of the most incredible series of Agadah Gemaras. Motzei Shabbos, you don't want to miss. I mean, the Agadah Gemaras that are coming up now are unbelievable. From the famous Agadah Mark, if you want to take a drive and come on over, Motzei Shabbos, it's absolutely amazing Gemaras.
Rabbi, what time Motzei Shabbos?
What time Motzei Shabbos? What time? 9:30? Yep. 9:30. 9:30. It's doable. You won't be home so late.
1 hour.
Well, I don't know. We might be having too much fun. It might be having too much fun, Motzei Shabbos. Motzei Shabbos is Motzei Shabbos. You should grab the ice cream, Motzei Shabbos, and come and sit and listen. Okay, so the Gemara tells us that as we start the bottom line on Daf Ayin Aleph Amud Beis, Nafkamina, the Nafkamina that Rav Huna says that when a person reserves two trees for himself, he sells the field and he keeps two trees for himself. So we said that according to Rav Huna, he keeps the ground with it, right? That was Rav Huna's halacha all the way on Ayin Aleph from an Aleph. right? Mocher karka, if he sells land, v'shayir shnei ilonos lefanav, right? So in such a case where Mark sells land to Marshall, but he keeps 2 trees, so Rav Huna's position is he keeps the ground underneath the trees too. So nafkamina de'inafle, if the trees die, hadir shasalu, he's allowed to replant them. Says the Gemara, wait a second. We got problems with the way we set up the halacha of the being makdish the land. And we said that when you makdish the land, so the charib hamurkav, the carob tree that was grafted, and the sadana shikma is also dedicated to hektish, because we say that when he dedicates it with an ayin yafa, with a generous eye, and therefore he dedicates the land underneath it as well. And therefore, since he dedicates the land underneath it, so since even if he would reserve the carob tree and the sycamore tree for himself, but since he dedicates Ba'ayin Yafa and he dedicates the land underneath it, so it's Yoinik Min Hektish, it nurses from Hektish, and therefore Hektish also gets the carob tree and the sycamore tree because it's nursing from Hektish. But says the Gemara, Mi Motzis Mukmas Lala Reb Shimon Rabbi Akiva. Could we say that Reb Shimon has the viewpoint of Rabbi Akiva, but that will get us into a different problem. Vatanya, Hikdish Shloisha Ilonish, let's say Mark dedicates 3 trees. Now these are 3 saplings, Mitma Asara Lebeisa, where 10 of them would be, they're planted in a way that they're not too close and not too far, that 10 of them would need a Beisa. So there, Hari Hikdish es Hakarka V'Esilanis, because in such a situation, the saplings need 250 amas around each of them, and therefore he's makdish the real estate together with the trees. Now, therefore, since it has a din of a field of trees, because 3 trees has a din of a field of trees, when a person wants to redeem it from hektish, he dedicates the real estate under it and also the small trees between them. Lefika kishu paida, when he wants to redeem it. Now there's a special gezeres hakasiv in the Torah that when redeeming an ancestral field that was dedicated, you redeem it by the measure of an area where you could plant a kur of barley seeds for 50 shekel over the 49 years of Shemitah, because it goes back at Shemitah. So therefore, you have to redeem it to per year that's left. So if it would be right away in the beginning, you would have to give 50 shekel. If it's, let's say, 25 years into the Shemitah, so there's left 24 years, you would, for each year, you would give a selah and a punyan, because that's the amount of 50 shekel for the full period. So for each year left, for the 24, you would give 24 slime and 24 punyanim for the acreage of where you could plant a kur of barley. Pachis mikan, but if the trees are spaced closer, they're planted densely together, where that shows that you didn't mean to keep it there, but you're going to pull them out and repot it, or yoiser alkain, or they're further from each other, so then it's not a field of trees, or shekdishan bezach hazeh, or you want makdish all three trees together, but one after another. Harizeh lo yekdish lo yakarka, you didn't dedicate the land, v'lo yasa ilana shebeneim, nor the small trees between them. Lefika kishupaida, when he redeems them, since there's no land, he redeems the tree at their value. Kishupaida paida es ilanos b'shaveihen. And not only that, not only that, elafilu hikdish es ilanos, even if he was makdish the trees, v'chaza v'hikdish es akarka, and then he was makdish the land. Kishu paida, when he redeems them, paida es ilanos b'shaveihen, because they were originally dedicated by themselves. V'chayzer paida be'zerachai misarim b'chamishim shekel kesef. And then afterwards you redeem the ground for its value of a sel and a pundian per year for the area where you could plant a kur of barley seeds. Now, Mani, who's this going like? Rabbi Akiva, if it's going like Rabbi Akiva, then even if it's going like Rabbi Akiva, and it says that if he doesn't do 3, let's say he only dedicates 2 trees, so we say that you don't get the land underneath it. He says that when you sell it generously, and that's even by selling, then surely by dedicating, the koshrei makdish. And even if it's going to according to Rabbanan, imrei, they say moicher hu de ba'ayin ra moicher, only a seller sells stingily, aval makdish ba'ayin yafa makdish. Ela pshita Reb Shimon he. Obviously it's going according to Reb Shimon. Rabbi Shimon aliba daman. Aliba Rabbi Kiva. If it's going according to Rabbi Kiva, ha'imar moicher ba'ayin yafa moicher, a seller sells ba'ayin yafa, v'koshrei makdish. Ela pshita aliba Rabbanan. It must be going according to Rabbanan. And Reb Shimon holds that the Rabbanan hold, because of Reb Shimon, just like a seller sells stingily, makdish nami ba'ayin ra makdish. And therefore, umishayer ara, when he sells less than 3 trees, he sells only the trees and not the land. So you can't say Reb Shimon is going according to Rabbi Akiva. So we're going to have to give a different shot over here. And we welcome in Ben Sion Cohn, who has joined us. I'm not sure if I welcomed Abe Arbach and Shelley Zeitlin, so welcome as well. It's good to see here 27 Zoomers this evening. The Ella, as we turn to Ayin Beis Amid Beis, the Ella Kasha, if he holds that even Makdish is Ba'ayin Ra Makdish, so then L'chaira, when he dedicates a field, so since included in a field is not the grafted carob and the prune sycamore, because they have their own identity, and if according to Reb Shimon you don't get the hektish doesn't get the field underneath the tree, what does Reb Shimon mean? What does it mean that it's yoinik from the stay hektish? If since he holds that Rabbanan hold even hektish is b'ayin ra, so when he keeps the Satan HaShikma, he keeps the ground underneath it as well, and then it's not being yoinik from a field of hektish. So the Gemara says, Ella, Reb Shimon l'divrayim d'Rabbanan ka'amrei lo. Reb Shimon is playing devil's advocate over here. Not calling the rabbis devil. But El Reb Shimon l'divrayim d'Rabbanan Kamalu. Reb Shimon is saying according to the words of Rabban. Lididi, according to me, ki eichi d'moicha b'ayin ra moicha, just like a moicha sells with ayin ra, makdish nami b'ayin ra makdish. V'shiyurei mishayir, and therefore he keeps the land underneath. Lididchu, but according to you, that holds that by hektish is b'ayin yafa, oidu limia deloy hektish alachar v'amukah v'sadan hashikma. At least admit to me that that yeah, he should at least admit to me that the only thing that he keeps is the grafted carob tree, and the only thing that he's makdish is the grafted carob tree and the prune sycamore tree, but not the other stuff, not the bar and the gas and the shavech. V'amrei Rabbanan lo yishna. Now the question is, but it says that the reason is because it's yoinik mistay hektish. One second. Hold on a second. So that's what he means. He says, at least admit to me, according to you, the ditchu, according to you, that you hold that makdish is different than moicher, and the makdish is ba'ayin yafa. Oidulimia, that the only ayin yafa that it is that he gives away the entire field, and therefore, since he gives away the entire field, so then the carob and the sycamore tree goes along with it because it's yonik from the hektish. But the bar and the shavech and the gas, that's not included. Says the Gemara, Oidulimia is to lo hektish alachar v'amurka v'sadan hashivka. The Rabbanan say no, loishna. It's not only the carob and the sycamore tree, but also he's makdish ba'ayin yafa, and he gives away the whole store. He gives away the bar, the gas, the shavech as well. Says the Gemara, but we're going to have another problem over here. This Gemara is not making it easy for us. But Mayu kim to look Rabbi Shimon amos seifa. Look at the seifa. V'loyayid el afilu hikdish es ha'yilanos, even if Mark was makdish first the trees, v'chaz of hikdish es karka, and he went ahead and he was makdish the karka. When redeeming it, you have to redeem it in two stages. Since the trees were dedicated as independent entities, kishu poida es hilanos b'shaveyan, he has to redeem the trees by their value, and then the real estate underneath it with the formula of a chayzer poida beis zera chaymer sa'irim, the area where you can plant a kur of barley, b'chamishim shekel kesef. But wait a second. Reb Shimon has a shita that we go basar pidyon. We go bus at the time of the redemption. And if we go bus at the time of redemption, at that time, the tree and the land is together ekdishes. So you should be able to redeem the whole thing together. Reb Shimon lays a bus of pidyon, v'nifriku agavarayu, and the tree should come along together with the land when you do the calculation of redeeming it for a sela punyan per year for an area of Zerachai Messiah. Doshamina later Reb Shimon, because we know the opinion of Reb Shimon, the Ozel Basar Pidyon. He goes after the time of redemption. Now this is taking us into another halacha, a very interesting halacha. There's a difference when you redeem a field, redeem something that's a stei achuza, an ancestral field, or a stei mekach. The formula of Zerach Chaimer Sa'irim is only for an ancestral field that was dedicated. Now, get a load of this case. The Tanya. Minayin lekeach soda me'aviv. What happened was Yitzchak bought a field from his father Avram. Vikdisha. And he dedicated it. So here he dedicated it as a state mekach, as a purchased field. And then his father died. Now, when his father died, then it would become his ancestral field. But when he dedicated it as a stei mekach. Minayin shetehei lefanav kistei achuza. How do we know that when we redeem it, he could get the privilege of redeeming it like a stei achuza, like an ancestral field, with the formula of just to sell a pudyin per year left to Yovel? Talmud Leimer, v'im estei miknosai, if it's a purchase field, asher loy mistei achuzasai, which cannot become an ancestral field. Soda she'ena ru'uya liyai stei achuza, a field that can't become an ancestral field. But here, this is a field that can become his ancestral field, because when his father dies, it becomes his ancestral field. Yotzis azu she'ru'uya liyai stei achuza, div Reb Yehuda. Div Reb Yehuda, Reb Shimon. So you see that Reb Shimon holds we go bus at the time of Pidyon. And at the time of Pidyon, it's already a stei achuza. How do we know if you buy a field from Yitzchak buys a field from his father? Or Meisav, his father dies, and he was makdish it after the father died. Oh, so then it was already his stei achuza. Menayin shetei lefonim k'stei achuza. Talmud v'imeh stei miknosei asher loy mistei achuzasei. It's a stei mikna which is not a stei achuza. So the shein is stei achuza. Yotzis azu, since he dedicated after he had inherited from his father, she's stei achuza. V'ilu Reb Yehuda Reb Shimon says, Heichen meis aviv achach akdisha, where the father died and then he was makdish, you don't need a pasuk for that. Obviously, if his father died and then he dedicated it, it was a stei achuza. Ki kra, when you need the pasuk, heicha dikdisha v'achach meis aviv, where he was makdish it, the father died after he was makdish it. So minalahu, if it's from this pasuk, it must be, maybe, if it's from this pasuk, maybe we should say the pshat in this pasuk is the way Reb Meir says it. Only if he dedicates it after his father died. It must be that it's the position of Reb Shimon that we go to its status at the time of redemption. And the status at the time of redemption is that this is now was his ancestral field because his father died. Says the Gemara, no. And then if we go by the redemption, why, even if Mark dedicated the trees first and then the land, why don't we say we go by the time of redemption now where the trees and the land are both property of Hekdesh, and he should be able to redeem it in one shot. So Amar Machmir Yitzchak L'Olam Ba'alma Reb Yehuda Reb Shimon Lo Yazli Basa Pidyon. They don't go bus at the time of redemption. However, v'hacha kra ashkechu v'darish. Here, if you'll look, you'll see something superfluous. You have to be a daikon. You have to know how to make a good deduction. But if you look at the pasuk carefully, you'll see that there's something superfluous in the pasuk. Im kain, if the pasuk is only like Reb Meir, that it's only if the father dies and only then Yitzchak dedicated it. Im kain lichtav krav im estei miknasei asher lo yachuzasei. If it's estei miknasei, which is not his stei achuza, or inami im estei miknasei asher lo stei achuzasei. That's not his field of inheritance. My asher lo mistei achuzasei. What's the mem? The mistei achuzasei. It means that it could never become his stei achuza. In this case, even though Yitzchak dedicated it and only then the father died, but still, that's not going to be a case of a stay mekach, because this isn't the field that was never right to be an ancestral field. Now,
What does Rabbi Meir do with that?
what?
He doesn't learn that.
I don't know what he does with the mem. The Gemara doesn't tell it to us. You could ask another question, and that is, it seemed to be from the beginning of the sugya that if it was just telling us that Yitzchak dedicated it after his father died, then what do we need any pasuk for? Right? The Gemara seemed to drop that, because the Gemara says, if it wouldn't be for the mem, how do we know that we don't learn the pasuk like Rameir? That is a problem. But anyway,
why can't it just say it's his stay mikna? That's it. You don't need to say anything else. You don't need to tell me what it isn't. It's a stay.
no, we might think that once it came into your reshus as a purchase, even if it's a stei achuza, it's not good enough.
He's makdish it when he bought it and he was makdish it. That's all you need. It's not a stei achuza. He bought it from his father and he was makdish it, and that's the end of the game.
Yeah, you're saying the whole words are extra?
Yeah, you don't need to tell me what it's not.
Well, so
he was makdish it, and that's it.
yeah, but obviously, if he bought it from his if he's bought it from his father and the father died.
And he was makdish.
No, but let's talk about Rameir's case.
Okay.
We bought it from his father and the father died, and then he was makdish. So it's a stay mekach, and it's a stay achuza. So you have to say him stay mikdasa asher loy mistay achuzas. Now, here the Gemara now tells us, Amar Rav Huna, Charav amurka v'sadna shikma, a grafted carob tree and a prune sycamore tree has a double identity. Double identity. Tairas ilan alav, sometimes it has a din of a tree, and sometimes Tairas karka alav, sometimes it has a din of real estate. What does that mean? Remember we said that in the event the Heicha da Aktish Oizavin Shnei Ilanis, where is Maktish or sold 2 trees, Vahai, and a Sadna Shikma, or a grafted carob tree. It has a din of a tree to make it 3 trees that you get the land underneath it. Yesh loy karka. So that means that we're saying the Sadna Shikma and the Charav Amurkav has a din of a tree. Because when you dedicate or you sell 2 trees plus it has a din of 3 trees, where we say that you get, that's already a field of trees, and you get the field with it, and you get all the small trees in between it. On the other hand, Teiris Karka Alav, it has a din of a separate piece of real estate, the loim is daven agavara. That if I sell you a piece of land, remember we said that the grafted carob tree or the prune sycamore tree has its own identity, and you don't get the tree with it. So that means it doesn't have a din of a regular tree. It has a din of another piece of land that you don't delay mizdaven agavar. It's not sold together with the land. Now Rav Huna says, I'll give you another case of a double identity. What's another case of a double identity? V'amar Rav Huna oimer sheyesh bo sasayim. Now, the din is, there's a unique halach in the Torah that one of the matnes aniyim is shikha. That if, let's say, Baruch is collecting the sheaves in his field, and he forgets a sheaf, so the pasuk says, Lo yisoshuv lekachta. You can't turn back to retrieve it, you have to leave it for the poor. But a sheaf that has the amount of 2 sah, that doesn't have a din of a sheaf. So even if Baruch forgets it, it doesn't become the property of the ani. Why? Because it says you don't return back to retrieve it, something that you could retrieve in one time. But a pile that's 2 sah, you can't retrieve it in one time. So says the Gemara, a pile that has 2 sah, very interesting. Sometimes it has the law of a sheaf, and the Torah's Gadish alav. Sometimes it has a din of a whole pile. Torah's Omer alav, because the din is the Shnei Oimrim Shikha. If Baruch forgot 2 sheaves, 2 piles, it has a din of Shikha. But if he forgets 3, it doesn't have a din of Shikha. So if he forgets 2 and this one, even though it has 2 sah, it combines to make it 3 piles, and it doesn't have a din of Shikha. So the Shnei Oimrim Shnikna, Shnayim v'hu, 2 Oimer, 2 piles, and this one, even though it has 2 sah, ain't a Shikha. So it combines with 2 piles to make it 3 piles that it doesn't have a din of Shikha. But Torah's Gadish alav, it also has a din of a stack. That nan oimer sheyesh bo yisasayim. If an oimer has 2 sah, shachachu. If Baruch forgets just that oimer, ain't shikha, because it says l'isoshav l'kachta. You shouldn't return to take it. Only something that you could take in one shot, not an oimer of 2 sah, which you can't take in one shot. And finally, as we're going to finish the parak tonight, I just want to tell you that after we finish the parak, I did the Mishnah Yomis already, and tonight I'm going to do the series for the Shabbos table. Again, if you're here on Shabbos, I will say these ideas on Shabbos, so you don't have to stay for it if you live in Fairways. But for those of you that don't have the pleasure of living in Fairways, so you're welcome to join me as I do the segment for the Shabbos table. The Gemara now tells us, Amar Rabba Babachana Amar Reish Lakish, Charib Hamurkav V'Sadin Hashikma, the grafted carob tree, and the grafted carob tree, and the prune sycamore tree, our subject that we've been talking about, where Mark consecrated the field, right? And the question is, what's the din with the charbas shmurkav and sadnashim? Banu l'machloikis Rab Menachem v'Rab Yosi v'Rabbana. It comes to the machloikis of Rab Menachem v'Rab Yosi. Rab Menachem v'Rab Yosi elsewhere says that moicher is ba'ayin yafeh. Excuse me.
I am not.
Rab Menachem Rab Yosi says that even makdish is ayin ra makdish, and therefore since the makdish is makdish b'ayin ra, so he doesn't give the land under the Sadan HaShikma and the Charav HaMurkav, and therefore there's no problem of it being yoinik from Hektish. So according to him, the Sadan HaShikma and the Charav HaMurkav Mark keeps for himself. According to the Rabbanan, even though Moicher is ba'ayin ra Moicher, but Makdish is ba'ayin yafa Makdish, and since he's Makdish ba'ayin yafa, he's Makdish even the land under the Charav HaShikma, and therefore Mark gives the Charav HaShikma and the Charav HaMurkav because it's yoinik from the land of Hektish. Says the Gemara, V'leima machloikis Reb Shimon Rabbanan. Why don't we just say, like we said before, that this is a machloikis between Reb Shimon and Rabbanan? Says the Gemara, Hakam Ashmalan. This teaches us the Reb Nachum Reb Yaisi, Reb Shimon Tzviralei. The Reb Nachum Reb Yaisi holds like Reb Shimon that even by Hektish we say that it's ba'ayin ra. Therefore, Mark is not when he dedicates when he dedicates the land. He's not dedicating the land under the Charav HaShikma and the Sadan HaMurkav, and therefore it's not yoinik mistei hektish, and therefore he could keep it. Hadnu lacha moicher es abayis, hadnu lacha moicher es abayis, hadnu lacha moicher es abayis. That was a very difficult piece of Gemara. And now we're going to do what?
I'm glad you did it, not me.
Now we're going to do the section for the Shabbos table, which, as I said, if you're here on Shabbos, you want something?
I figured it all out.
What?
The whole refrigerator situation.
Yeah?
Yeah. You have a refrigerator underneath by the coffee machine.
Yeah.
It's probably not being used.
Yeah.
Get rid of that refrigerator, which is not hardly being used. You can bring it upstairs for longer term stuff. You can either get another refrigerator, a smaller one, and add it to that. So you have two smaller refrigerators and use a bigger one for the. You don't need a freezer. You have
It's fine.
So we.
Yeah? Okay.
So
Boy, my garage is going to start looking like a zoo.
do you use that refrigerator that's in your garage?
Yes.
Well, now you could have two refrigerators. We have to work on your garage, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
That's the next project.
Good to have you. I have a chance. Miss you.
If you want, you don't want to, if you would not feel comfortable, I don't want to.
I'm not going to fight for now.
So we need a committee to get that refrigerator out.
I'm not.
Okay, we'll talk.
They tell me to do exactly, I'm not going to change anything.
Rich, wait for me, okay?
Okay.
I could show you.
Matzah Shabbos is 9:30.
You should follow whatever they're telling you, they're the real experts.
Did you get the answers for it?
Yes, I did. You said this to me, thank you.
Don't forget
What?
revised
What time turnover
thing
do
with
you know?
the shell shooters for the digital.
I'll announce him Matzah Shabbos.
Oh, Rabbi, don't forget to post both the things to Torah anytime for me. The
Yeah.
shir tonight
Yeah.
and the Chona shir, because I need to post it into the newsletter tomorrow.
I don't want to post the main share because I want people to come on Shabbos.
So you don't want it in the newsletter.
Not the main Shabbos. We could do it after Shabbos. Post everything after Shabbos.
After Shabbos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Today is 72, right?